What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, hello and welcome. Today's video is another exciting one because I have the new Harvest of Souls palette from Fantasy Cosmetica, one of my absolute favorite brands. I have every single palette the brand has ever released, and in fact, I just had a video go up yesterday ranking all of those palettes. It is a collaboration with my beautiful friend Makeup Lens, so I will have her video as well as mine linked down below in the description box in case you miss them and you wanted to check them out. But this palette, y'all, I gasped when they revealed this one. First of all, the packaging is absolutely stunning. 10 out of 10. I love the artwork, but the color story in this one, how gorgeous is that? I love the combination of jewel tones with a little bit of murkiness mixed in. We have this beautiful neon lime green, which is 100% going to be going in my inner corner very soon. But this is a 16 pan palette, which is a new format from the brand, and I absolutely love that. I think they curated it beautifully. It is matte heavy. I love the shimmers in here. This is a beautiful palette, and I really love that they're expanding on not only their color stories, but they're diving a little bit deeper into the fantasy world. I think it's so fun, and I'm really excited to play with this palette. Now, this palette does retail for $55. It is still currently available on their website, so I will have it linked and listed down below in the description box, as well as everything else that I used to finish these looks today. So per usual, if you're ever curious about anything I use in any of my videos here on my channel, always check the description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. But let's go ahead and zoom in, prime my eyes, and start creating our looks. Alright, y'all, let's go ahead and dive in and start creating our first look. So my lid is already primed my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I know I want to put this lime green on my inner corner. That was the first shade that kind of caught my eye when I opened up this palette. I love the shimmer shade up here, this really pretty gold, and I'm kind of deciding if I want to play with these two shades right here and then do maybe something a little bit more murky for the second look. There's so many beautiful shades in here. I'm having a really hard time deciding where I want to start, but I think for this look, we're going to go ahead and start with my inner corner, and we're just going to kind of work our way out and kind of see where these looks take us. So I'm going to pick that shade up, which is called Poison, with, where are you? With this one right here, my Sigma E53. And like I said, I'm going to put this in my inner corner. I love a neon green or a yellow or a chartreuse in the inner corner. I think it's so fun. It's a beautiful pop of color, and I have found that this is like the best way that I love to use a neon shade. They're very user-friendly this way because they are very white based and they're not very easy to kind of build on top of. So I do suggest, if you want to use this as like a blending shade, to do it on top of something else and don't try and build up on top of a neon, because it's just not going to work out very well. But this is absolutely beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love this shade so much. Okay, so next we're going to go into this really pretty teal shade right here. This one is called Undead. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my BK Beauty 201 brush, and I'm going to start to kind of pack this into my crease and bring it over towards that outer corner. And I'm just going to kind of bring it up to that lime green shade and kind of bump it up next to it. And then once I have that shade down, I'll go back in with more of that lime green shade called Poison and kind of blend them together a little bit better. But I'm just going to press this shade in. I'm not going to bring it all the way over to right there because I want to go in with something else. But once I have the shade down, I can take that brush and sort of fluff out the outer edge and just soften this look. Alright, so I'm going back with that shade Poison, and I'm just kind of putting it a little further up onto my crease, just kind of blending it into that last shade that I put down. And once I kind of have it reiterated, I can wipe off my brush and then just kind of drag it into that shade so it has like a nice seamless blend. I don't want to over blend the shades because, like I said, the neon will start to disappear and this will kind of overtake that other shade that I put down if I start to do that. But this is working beautifully. For the outer corner, we're going to go into this really pretty plummy purple shade right here. This one is called Sacrifice. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my Kristen Dominique Sigma Eye and Nose Contour Brush. And I'm just going to start to pack this right here in the outer corner. I'm going to bring it up into the crease, but I don't want to bring it up too high. And I just want to start with packing motions. I don't want to start swiping and blending because I don't want that other shade to kind of mud up with this one. So when you're working with shades like this, you have to be careful to not over blend, because that's when you start to get muddiness and murkiness and things like that that you don't want. But oh, this is beautiful. I'm going to take that same shade down onto the very outer portion of my lower lash line as well, just lining it up with what I have going on my lid. And then we're going to go back in, I think, with some more purples on the rest of the lower lash line. Okay, for the rest of the lower lash line, I think I've decided I want to go in with this shade right here. It's this really pretty cool tone purple shade. It's called Ancient. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that one up with a Game Beauty EO2 brush. And I'm very lightly just going to kind of fluff this along the rest of my lower lash line. I'm not going to pack it or tight line. I just want to have like a really nice soft smattering of this color down here just to kind of tie everything together. Okay, so before we move on to all over the lid, I want to deepen up this outer corner just slightly. And for that, I'm going to go into this really deep kind of turquoise blue shade down here. This one is called Phylactery. That one's really throwing me for a loop. I could be completely wrong on that. I apologize if I am, but I'm going to pick that up with a Singe Beauty EO5, and I am just very lightly going to deepen up this outer corner right here. Now, since this is such a dark teal shade and I'm going over top that kind of berry purple shade, this should almost kind of act like a black shade. It shouldn't mud out or do anything crazy. So like I said, I'm just kind of putting it right here, and then once I have that shade where I want it, I can very softly start to blend that out, but it's giving me just the slightest amount of depth out here, and I love it. For all over the lid, I want to go into this multi-chrome right here. This one is called Souls. I am going to swatch it out for y'all on the back of my hand so you can see what it looks like. Now, I did go ahead and prime my eye with my NYX glitter primer per usual, and I will be using a brush to apply this, but look at how gorgeous that is. Oh my gosh, I am loving that pink to green to purple shift that it has going on. I'm sorry, blue to purple to green shift that it has going on. I don't know where I got pink from, but absolutely stunning. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick that brush up with a BK Beauty 203. I am going to spray this, and I'm just going to start by packing it all over my lid, and then once I have that shade down, I can start to kind of blend it and disperse it and just make sure that everything is nice and blended with no harsh lines. I do want to note this picked up very nicely. It was very creamy. It didn't feel chunky or dry or anything. It's exactly what I expected from the brand, and look at that. So pretty, so reflective. This is the Fantasy Cosmetica that I know and love. Alright, so before I finish up this look, I think I want to go in with one of these two shades right here, just on the outer portion where that matte and that shimmer meet. So I did go ahead and swatch those out on the back of my hand already. So the one in the middle is going to be this one right here, which is called Eternal. And then the one on the end over there, that really pretty purple one, is going to be this one, which is called Ensnare. So I'm kind of thinking maybe this one would be a really good addition to the look, but I think this one might be a better bridge shade. So I think for that reason, we're going to go into this one right here, because I think this one's just going to kind of overpower the look too much. So that is the shade Eternal. I'm just going to pick a little bit up on my finger. That might be too much, so I'm going to dab it off, and I'm very lightly going to press right here where the matte and the shimmer meet, and you see how that blend is just a little bit more seamless than what I had before. If you get carried away, you can go in with your finger, blend it out a little bit more. You can always go back in with that matte shade if you need to as well, but I love the effect that that gives when you do that. It gets rid of that harsh line. Alright y'all, so this is the first completed look with this palette, and I love it. I think it turned out so beautiful. The lime green on the inner corner did not disappoint. It is so vibrant. It looks absolutely gorgeous. The performance of the mattes was on point, and that multi-chrome on the lid is so smooth, reflective, and shifty. I really love the way this look turned out. Let me show you what I used to finish it off. So in my lower waterline, I went in with an LA Girl Pastel Dream liner. This is in the shade Magic Mint. And then I lined my lid with my ZC liquid liner and topped everything off with my Huda Beauty One Coat Wow mascara. But let's go ahead and create our second look. So for this one, I really want to play with kind of this murky green and yellow corner up here at the top. Maybe throw in a little bit of this shade down here, something on the lower lash line. I haven't gotten too far with this one. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start with this shade up here, this really pretty like pukey yellow green shade. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that shade up with a BK Beauty 212. This one is called Ambition, and I'm going to go ahead and start to press this into my crease building up the depth and the definition that I want. And per usual, once I have that shade where I want it, I can go back and start to kind of blend it, soften the edges, fluff it out, and just, I don't even know what words I'm looking for anymore. Just kind of blend that shade. Alright, so I'm going to take that same shade down onto my lower lash line as well, just kind of wrapping it all the way around. I think I'm going to do a pretty cohesive look with this one. I really want to stick to that murky corner up at the top. To deepen up the outer corner, we're going to go into this grungy green shade right here. This one is called Lich, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my BK Beauty 206, and we're just going to start to press this in the outer corner, like I said, building up the depth and the definition. I'm not going to take it too far over. I'm going to bring it over about a third of the way like I normally do, and then once I have the shade where I want it, I can start to kind of soften and buff and blend everything together. Those are the words that I was looking for earlier when I got all tongue-tied and lost my train of thought. I'm going to bring that shade down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well. And then once I have that shade where I want it, I'm going to go back with that first shade that I used, which is called Ambition. Same brush, no extra product. And I'm just going to go right along the edge of that shade and just kind of soften everything, blend it, make sure we don't have any harsh lines. Next, I want to go into this deep green shade down here called Necromancer and build up a little bit of depth in my outer corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that shade up with a Morphe M506 brush, and just like I did in the first look, I'm very lightly going to press this shade right here in the outer corner, building up the little bit of depth that I want. I always like to add just this little pop of darkness in the very outer corner. I don't ever take it over very far, and I'm also going to bring it down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well, just kind of buffing everything right into the very outer corner of my lid. For the inner corner of this look, I'm going to pop back into this neon green shade right here called Poison. I just love it so much. I think it's insanely beautiful, and I think it's going to go really nice with this look as well. So I'm going to pick that up again with my Sigma E35 brush, and then just kind of the same thing I did with the first look. I'm just going to pop it right in here and then just kind of blend it up into the crease and down onto the lower lash line. But I'm not going to have it pop nearly as much as I did in the first look. I just want to have that tiny little bit right here. For all over the lid, I want to go into this really pretty like green to gold flippy shade up here. This one is called Schemes. So let's go ahead and do a swatch on the back of my hand to see what this one looks like. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. Look at how shimmery and reflective that is. Now I will say this one has a little bit more texture to it. It's not gritty or heavy, but it's not super smooth or putty like or wet feeling like the other ones in this palette have been, but it does still blend out really beautifully. But we're gonna go ahead and pick that one up with my BK Beauty 203 brush per usual. I am going to spray this, and we're gonna put this all over my lid. I think this shade is so beautiful. I love the way that it's swatched out. So give it a little spritz. We're gonna press it all over the lid, and then once I have that shade down, I can go and start to blend it out. Oh wow, that is so pretty. And there you have it, our second completed look with this palette, and I think this one turned out just as beautiful as the first one. I love the murky tones. Everything performed the way that I expected it to. I didn't have any issues, and even though that shimmer on the lid was just a little bit more textured than what I'm used to from the brand, I think it looks beautiful. I love that little extra twinkle that it has in it. But let's go over what I used to finish off this look so we can go ahead and turn on the light, see the shift, the shimmer, and the sparkle, and then we can close out this video with my first initial impression thoughts. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a Give liner. This is in the shade Greener Pastures, and then I lined my lid with my same liquid liner and finished it off with my same Huda Beauty One Coat Wow mascara. Alright y'all, so based off of first impression, I love this palette. I have nothing negative to say about it. I think it performed beautifully. I had such a good time creating these looks, and I love the way that they turned out. The formula in here is impeccable. In fact, I think it's probably the best formula the brand has ever given us. The mattes in here are so pigmented, they applied beautifully, they blended out like a dream. I didn't have any issues with patching, skipping, or fallout, and the shimmers in here are beautiful as well. They are shifty, they are reflective, they are smooth. We do have some different textures and formulas formulas in here, but I didn't have any issues with them, and they're exactly what I expected from the brand. I love the color story in here as well. Like I said, the mixture of the jewel tones with that little bit of murkiness in here. We've got light, we've got dark. This neon green shade right here, nailed it. It is absolute perfection. This is very well curated. There is no color overlap in here. I love this palette. In fact, this may be my new favorite one from the brand, which is really hard for me to say because I have loved the Rogue palette for so long, and that could change once I play with the rest of the shades in here, but I really don't think it's going to. I think the formula in here across the board is going to be impeccable, but I will keep y'all updated in a future palette ranking video once I have tested out the rest of the shades in here, but for now, I love this palette and I'm so excited that I have it. But that is going to complete this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Did you pick up this palette? Did you pass on it? Which look was your favorite? I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation. Light up that comment section. And as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.